Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our Timberborn Update 7 Emberpelts playthrough here in Cycle 2, Day 9. Just getting started, and last episode, of course, we got everything squared away pretty nicely for a first episode, at least as far as most of my series is going. But today we're going to keep expanding, try to see if we can do some diversion before the bad tides hit, and start the process of expanding to other parts of the map while attempting to make things that look nice and aren't just functional. So, to that end, I have installed a couple of mods that are going to help. We have a dam decoration, and then we have a dam decoration extension mod as well. It's going to give us a whole bunch of these decorative pieces of levees with both wood and metal. And then we have these inverted slopes and all sorts of stuff. We can make some really, really cool looking stuff. And I'm really excited to get into some of that a little bit later. But before we dive in too much, I did also want to talk a little bit about some other goals for this playthrough, including minimal or no, asterisk, terraforming. Because just look at this map. It's really cool. Like I talked last episode about how this reminds me of a beta version Minecraft terrain generation, where you have all these overhangs and these sheer cliffs and everything. It's just a really imaginative, fun landscape. So I like to try to preserve that. I don't know if I can get away with, completely not using dynamite or putting additional dirt in or whatever. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try to do as little of that as I can and take advantage of how this map is laid out. And when we get to the trains, we do, of course, have different needs for those guys, and we may end up having to do just a tiny bit to make it accessible for them. But I think we're going to have a great time. And there's some other bridges and things I do want to get at some point, like the steel bridges. I think it's the bridge extension mod, but we don't need to worry about that quite yet, because we still have plenty of stuff to do. Let's get this on triple speed through the night here and talk about where we are. I started growing some apple trees last episode, and this patch of space here is going to be some more apple trees. We're continuing to expand our food options here with the corn that is growing, and we should have sometime pretty soon. That, of course, is going to go into the grill to be grilled corn, as one does. And that's going to be just tremendously helpful for our food production because you get 4 pieces of grilled corn for every single corn you grow. So let's get a head start on planting some of these apple trees. We do have some of these radishes that have been pulled out of the ground. And last episode I also talked about my diversion ideas by walling this off, kind of. I think if I just completely wall this off with some levees, that's going to force all of the water to come through here. And it's going to want to anyway because that's how this is going. And I'm hopeful it's going to be a whole lot easier to get things cleaned up if it's not coming through here at all, and only the good water comes through here when we have sluices at least, which is going to be a while. All the bad water is going to go that way until we can, figure out how to filter it out, and I think that's going to be good. But because these guys are Emberpelts, they do not like water, and they are not going to want to get down in there to build stuff. So, I think instead of waiting, I think what I'm going to want to do is actually take the stairs away, like that episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy where they take his stairs away. I know, real barn-burning analysis here. But we have all of these dam pieces, and these are from the decoration extension. This is why you haven't seen this before. But we've got different shapes, and I don't have a whole lot of science to unlock all this stuff yet. But this is a dam. This is... Oh, come on. This is our regular square levee. It's 120 science, which I do have. But you take a look at these. We've got these longer pieces. We've got taller pieces. We've got even longer pieces, even taller pieces. 2x2s, 2x3s, 3x2s, and 3x3s. So there's a lot of stuff we can do. With, I guess it's more pieces, but it's quicker to build. And you have some variety with your appearance. And again, this is supposed to be an aesthetically minded playthrough. So we could do a whole lot of really cool stuff without having to spend a whole bunch of time, schlepping materials to build 300 individual levees when, you pop maybe a dozen of these in and you get the same amount of coverage. This is also metal, same difference, but these shaped levees here are really, really, really cool. And I mean, this early in the game when I don't have the science, it just doesn't make sense to go for those. But there will come a time, and it's going to be absolutely glorious, friends. We can make some really cool looking stuff. All that being said, I have 130-something science. I need to get started building this stuff, so I'm just going to take this right here and have them build I think they might be able to reach one of this. If not, we might have to come in from this side. That might actually be the best way to do it. If I leave a pocket here, then it's going to collect some bad water. If I just come straight across here, then it won't. But I'm gonna have to figure something out. Well, regardless, that being there is going to be about the best I can do. This says it's too far from a district. This obviously is going to be too far from a district. And we do have these platforms here. So I think I can get away, at least for right now, with doing that. We'll put a regular path in. I see. I see what's happened here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And we'll just go straight through that way. We're going to talk about paths soon as well. So that's 85%, 18%, and that is 100%. Because remember, this is supposed to be one of those areas where we're planting trees. That's why we have the forester here. So, again, berries for the Emberpelts aren't really that important. Let's put this on triple speed. But while we have them, we do want to make sure we have a stock of those, and I don't have a ton of storage. So I'm not going to go out of my way to, you know, save all these things, but I don't think it's going to be necessary to get rid of them just quite yet. I'm going to make use of my forester here, and I'm going to plant oak trees where I have space, and just continue working with that. And eventually this whole area is going to be filled with plenty of fun stuff. So now they can actually reach this. That was really the main goal behind doing this way. So they can put this levee in place. I have the wood. And then later on, we can come over here and put our diversion thing in place. Gonna have to be careful not to flush some of the poison in through it, because it's going to want to collect here. So I got a couple ideas for that. The perfect in-game version of this, obviously, is not going to be what we build right now, because right now it's about just stopping the bad water from coming in no matter what, and moving on with our lives. So before we get too far, I do think I need to put a lumberjack flag here just so we have one. I'm going to deprioritize it because obviously it's not going to be that big of a deal since we do have this guy. But when we have all these trees coming in, we're going to want to have the extra, you know, lumberjacking power. Let's get some more apple trees in place here. One at a time is just fine. So they're working on that. Let's take a moment to talk about where the outflow is here. We did touch on this briefly last time, so this is the lowest part that we really need to be concerned with right here. It does go down one more level, but that doesn't go through anywhere. This goes all the way through, and this is what this looks like at this end where it merges with everything. See if I can, there we go. So, at the end of the day, we have a 2 wide, 1 tall hole here, and that's it. That's how this comes out. So this is what we need to be putting a sluice in, and we don't have metal yet, and it's going to be a while before we get to it. So the only real way we're going to be able to deal with this is to put a floodgate in front of it. If we're not going to, you know, demolish land or anything, floodgates are just going to have to go here and here, and we'll have to use SimpleFloodgateTriggers to either open or close those. That's the easiest, simplest, low-tech way to do it. And we do also, right here, have this outflow, but that's going to be a whole lot easier to deal with because it's taller. And we can just stick a floodgate in this hole without having to go around and do all this other crazy stuff. But because the Emberpelts don't like water, and because we have a very small population still, which we're going to be working on fixing today, I'd like to wait until a drought to do it. And I know normal mode's not going to give us a Badtide for a little bit of time. So we do have a moment. So let's put in some additional housing here. We have 18. I would like to have, by the end of this episode, probably no more than about 25 or so. Not that we need to, you know, pace out the growth so much, because it's not really a difficulty issue. It's just, you don't want to grow too quickly when you're trying to do something intentionally, instead of just brute forcing everything through your industrial tech trees and everything. So let's think about this, be smart if we can. Because remember, the lodges can also work as de facto ladders, since they can go up vertically between them that are all connected. So any place that is not in the water, that we want to be able to go up and down, using a ladder is going to be a little bit more expensive, than building a lodge in terms of, you know, technology cost and everything like that. We also don't have those unlocked yet. But using a lodge instead of a ladder is going to give us space for more beavers and also just look a little bit better, add some visual interest because we are trying to make something that looks good as well. And I guess, you know, long term, we really do need to be getting up here to get metal. That is our closest source, unless you want to count this as closer, but I think theoretically this is just a tiny bit closer. So, recognizing that, I'm going to put a lodge here, and then I'm going to put a lodge here, and we'll get these connected with paths. And we got to talk about paths. We have 4 different types. We have a regular path, we have a path with railings, we have a wooden path without railings, and we have a wooden path with railings. So to demonstrate to you what those look like, we got that guy there, we got that guy there, we got that guy there, and then we have that guy there. And there is a mod called Path Extension that I believe works with the Emberpelts. I'm not sure. I will have to test. But that adds some other options, including the frog path, if you remember that from forever long ago. But I think we can alternate using some of these. I like the wooden one a whole lot. And if you build it like this, then you'll notice it has a little insert here that I think looks pretty good. So let's get rid of those. And I'm going to start building wooden paths without railings to get over here. And we'll just have this snake around a little bit. And then that will come up this way. That's going to give us 6 more beavers worth of housing. And we're not going to want to use houses for stairs or ladders or anything super far away from where we're building everything, because then that's just more travel time for the beavers. But every once in a while, if we have an opportunity, it is a pretty good idea. So let's get this going again. They're making some nice progress here. Got some more space to plant some oak trees as we go about our business. And we do have a drought coming in 3 days. This one should be a little bit longer than 2 days or whatever the original one was. And I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to have enough materials and science to put in some levees, or actually I guess technically it would be the floodgates. So I have to remember where those are here. The regular 1 tall floodgate is 150 science. And it's 10 logs, 5 planks. I'm going to have 3 here and 2 over there. So I think we can do that. Shouldn't be that bad. I do have 29 planks right now, and we do have over 50 logs. So the only real issue is getting the beavers in there without them losing their minds because everything's wet. And because of how this is positioned, I'm not sure it's going to be possible to get them in here without getting wet. But I have access to regular stairs. I think... Oh, see, the way this is, there's trees everywhere that we can't remove without it being a big deal. So I don't think I can really get down here without researching ladders unless I get really, really creative. Remember, we're going for this bit right here. Well, we'll see how long of a drought this is going to be. That should give us a pretty good idea of what we're going to be able to get accomplished here. Alright, we're picking up corn, which means now I can open the grill, and we have our beaver who was previously unemployed going to work here. Should be able to, in just a moment, have some nice grilled corn. And I don't have storage for the grilled corn because this holds 120. We're storing instead the raw crop because that's a much higher density potential energy, or whatever you want to call it. Plenty of water, at least for right now, and this isn't going to run out super fast. It will run out, but it's not going to be super fast. Okay, I don't need to demolish leftover birch trees. That's fine. I'll just leave that alone. 1 day left, and this one is complete, which is good news. Now we just have to be able to get these guys around here. I think, despite what you might be thinking right now, it's going to be easiest for us to just come around the front here, because this hasn't been cut down yet, and I don't want to waste all that wood by just demolishing it. Got more and more and more oak trees that can be placed here. I'm going to keep this open for... maybe maples would make sense. Maples and then pines, because we do have to have some other stuff here. And these do take 40 days to get the syrup, or the sap, whatever you want to call it. So getting those planted now, I think, is going to be a smart move. I'm going to keep the path here just so we have access, but I'm not going to be demolishing trees to do it. Yep, see, there we go. We already have 67 grilled corn. Looking good. And we're about to find out how long of a drought this is going to be in just a moment here. How many days? 3 days? 4 days? 4 days. Okay, so 4 days is probably not going to be enough time for us to get down here without getting beavers wet. But this is almost certainly going to dry up here just as soon as the outflow stops. So let's have 156. Perfect. That worked out so nicely. Regular floodgates. We do have flat top floodgates, but they're substantially more expensive and they also take metal. We're not going to use those right now. So these guys can go right here, straight the way across, very, very easily. We have the materials. We already talked about that. I could, if I really wanted to, block this off here entirely and just have all the outflow be in this way, which would be substantially easier to do because they could just build straight down from here. But we do run the risk, if we do that, of bad water getting trapped down in here and poisoning the land above it or around it or whatever. So it is still going to be better for us to come out here and place a pair of floodgates. There we go. I have to actually click on it. A pair of floodgates right there, and then these can just go all the way up. So when a bad tide starts, we want that height to go all the way up to 1. When a drought starts, we want that height to go all the way up to 1. When a drought ends, we want that to go all the way down to 0. When a bad tide ends, we don't want to mess with it until it's clean. So we're just going to leave that right there. Guess I can leave this at 0.5 for now. We just have to figure out how to get the beavers there. And we do want to have these guys set the same way. Drought starts all the way up. Drought ends all the way down. Bad tide starts all the way up. And leave it alone from there. So that should be good. I just don't know exactly the best way to get down here. I suppose it's probably... Yeah, you know what? This might be, you know, just a tad bit wasteful material-wise. But I think it's going to pay big dividends here for us to just get down like so. That gets us all the way down to here. This gets us around here. I know I don't have any way to get up this way, so I will very quickly just build a staircase. That's not what I wanted to click on. See, these things have all moved around because I added the Dam Decorations mod, and it does reorganize things somewhat. So, muscle memory, that has since disappeared. This is going to let us get, with hopefully minimal weeping or gnashing of teeth, at the greatly increased cost of planks. But I think that's going to be fine. So let's get some beavers in here. I do have some extra beavers, so they can get to work on that. And how deep is this? Is this about to... Yeah, see, that's going to be fine. We can build this relatively quickly. And this isn't the most mission-critical one, because this is a lot easier to get to. This is going to be the one that, if and when... See, now we have some bad water here, too. If and when this dries out at a slightly better rate, then we're going to want to get in here. Because this is going to stay pretty clean, no matter what. But this one has to be absolutely empty. And it's going to take them a while to do this. And they might not even be able to do it in this 3-4 day period we have left. But all we can do is wait and find out. I do think it's going to be okay, though. Because you see how low this is? This is already pulling back, receding here. It should dry up. Yeah, see, now this is good. And this is now an isolated pool. So, unfortunately, that's not going to be... Okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Because we haven't built this yet, I can actually sit here and kind of redo this. We can avoid the beavers getting wet with only a slightly increased cost of materials by doing that, and then using this platform. You know what? It'll be easier to just do that. Is this wasteful in materials? Maybe a little bit, but it's going to keep our beavers uninfected for the next 2.5, 3, 4 days, depending on how long it takes for this to fill back up. We're trying at least. Oh boy, all the crops are dying. Well, we have plenty of food. Not that big of a deal. The trees will be fine. They always are. They'd be much worse off if we didn't have access to clean water. So again, this one is not as vital to have, but I'm still going to start placing it. I'm assuming... You know what happens when you assume. 3 wide here is going to be adequate. And again, this is going to have some bad water go into it at some point when we have our first bad tide. But for now, it's better than nothing. And it's going to control access pretty easily. Let's go ahead and set this all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, and then not mess with that at all. But this one is the most important one for us to do, and that is what they're doing first. We've got access to this. Again, we're using plenty of planks. These guys aren't exactly making the planks very quickly, but they'll get there. They'll get there, and we're going to recover most of these as well when we take care of that. Let's see, what else? I got an extra beaver. I can make them a builder. See, these guys, for the next 1 point whatever days, I don't think I'm going to waste any time shuffling them around, because it is what it is. Yeah, I may be bit off a little bit more than I could chew in terms of beavers getting stuff done during the first drought, but it's fine. No real need to worry here. I guess for right now I'll just do this. I know we're gonna use the other paths in other places, but for now I think this is going to be fine. No real need to be super worried about it. And like I said, I will do this staircase over here. Get this connected here, 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 here. Build all that. The lumber mill can only make so much so quickly, but remember, this is going to all be reclaimed with minimal weeping or gnashing of teeth. Should be fine. Just got to stare at this ugliness here for a little bit. So I definitely should have built another lumber mill when I had the chance. I'm kind of regretting that now, but I can. Since I have the stuff here, I can go ahead and get this done. I know the water's about to come back, so these beavers are going to get wet and they're going to get mad about it. But life goes on. They can go be divas or whatever, and then come back and, you know, put their big boy pants on and start making some stuff. But like I said, totally fine, even if all the crops died, which unfortunately most of them did, with the exception of these 2 tomato seedlings. And depending on how quickly we get our clean water back, might not even be any more than that. We had some that had about half a day left. So now we got clean water coming in this way. Well, mostly clean water, kind of brackish. But that, somebody got wet. Somebody got wet. Oh, now they're all going to be in a tizzy about getting wet. Well, you know, sometimes, folks, that is just how life goes. You got to be able to deal with it. And we do have a little bit of nasty here, but that is going to eventually get cleaned out. Just an occupational hazard, if you will. So now all these things are dead. I can plant apple trees. See? It all works out in the end. Usually. So now these beavers that have wet fur are not going to want to work because their fur is wet. And they get that debuff of that -2. So eventually their fur will dry out and they'll, you know, go back to life as they should have been this entire time. And now there's no benefit to no benefit to trying to do this quickly. We just have to get it done. So outside of that, we probably should start formulating a plan to get to the metal. Maybe not today, because we are going to have to span this gap, which is going to require some bridges and some creative construction. But we're really not as far away as you might think. Just need to be a little bit careful here as things get taken care of. Let's see, how much power is this going to put out with 1 beaver? I guess we'll find out in the morning when these guys wake up. and decide to stop worrying about having wet fur. So otherwise, yes, that minus 0.3 overall. Though the ones that have it have that -2. We'll have apples, hopefully, within the next little bit, next cycle or so. Is there anything else we can build without having to research it? Contemplation spot's only 100 science, and it's cheap to build, so I'll go ahead and research that. And where do we want to contemplate? Where would make sense? I guess right here would probably not be a bad spot. Wooden path going to that. I didn't want those two here, but I guess the game decided I wanted it anyway. Hey, this is all done, ready to go. Cool. So that is, that's good news. Which one are they working on? This one next? Too far from a... Oh, is that really too far? I didn't think it was going to be too far. So now they've got access to that. Ah, they're all working on this. Okay, well that's fine. That one's maybe a little bit more important as the inlet. So now I've got these here. They can reach all of that. Just come grab these and then we'll slowly pull that back up. Food is still looking pretty good. Tomatoes they all ate because of course they did. We've got apple trees. They are not marked for cutting. Don't you worry, not marked for cutting. Let's unmark these maples while we're here. And in under 8 days, we're going to have our very first apples, which can be eaten raw or can be put in some of these other things, like the bakery, to make apple pies. Fun stuff like that. For that, we also need wheat flour, which we haven't started doing anything with. I do want to try to make some aesthetically pleasing farms. I'm not exactly sure how the design for that's going to work. At least not right now. We can think about it. I'll take your suggestions as well. Remember, I'm trying to make this a slightly more aesthetically minded playthrough. Let's get our 4th beaver in here. Put a 2nd one in the power wheel. That should help this out just a touch. And I've got a full thing of clay. We also need a kiln. Would not be a bad thing. This doesn't have to be powered. We can start making bricks and charcoal for other things. 200 science. Maybe I should save for something else. The smart thing to do probably, since we're going to have extra beavers at least, is going to be to put in some additional inventor huts and have those set to minimum priority workplaces so that anyone who's not working can just go in there, do some thinking, and come up with some crazy ideas. Alright, hey, this is looking good. That is ready to go. And all they have to do now is finish this up. Okay, now we got a little low on the logs. But very soon, folks, we are going to have a tremendous quantity of logs. That is going to be very, very good. Let's get that here. Get that here. Get that there. Make sure those are unmarked for cutting so we don't accidentally have a tragedy later. Take that berry bush out for our benefit. Very good. That's done. Of course, they're not going to work on this quite yet. Maybe I should slightly prioritize these. Alright, so they're making 157 and they're consuming 100. That's fine. We do need that. And, oh, you know what? I should research Gear Workshop. Don't worry, this isn't going to stay here. This is just, for right now, what works. We do have a gear storage, and I do have plank storage here as well. We're going to make things look a whole lot nicer when we're out of the initial building phase. Don't you worry about that. Take these out here, take that out there, and I think, yeah, they can just come grab all of this. Not that we really need to. I'm going to pause this lumber mill because we're not going to need all of them working in there, but we definitely are going to want the wood workshop. Gear workshop, not the wood workshop. That's a different building. I want that going. And let's prioritize this contemplation spot. We need some logs. These guys are starting to run out. Can this guy reach up here? It can. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to indiscriminately cut down all of these trees up here. We know they can reach them. Yeah, we just need the logs. So now that goes all the way up there. I think long term we're going to want all of these to be maple trees, so I will go ahead and plant those. Let's unmark this, unmark that. Yeah, these can all be oaks down here. Berries, again, not a huge issue. In fact, where is my... Oh, my gatherer flag can't even reach these guys. I don't need I don't think I need this gatherer flag to be right here, folks. I think this can very safely get moved over to this side right here, where you can reach the apple trees and the berries. Should end up being a little bit nicer, although I still don't have berry storage. That's going to be something we'll want to take a look at very soon. And since this is basically empty with the tomatoes, what I can do here is I can turn this warehouse around, and I can do this. I think somebody left this as a comment. But that is something that I definitely needed to do. So tomato. I don't have storage. I technically do have storage for berries. But I don't have storage for apples, and we're about to need that, so that can go there. That's totally fine. Yeah, about 6 days, 5 days or so, we're going to have some apples coming in. They're just about finished. They just finished. Very good. Very good. Now this can get cleaned up. That's not shift backspace. I had the wrong key press held down. Now you'll note this is the same height here to get over this way when we have our bridges available. Can I get by with 4s? I think I need a 4 and a 5 to get across this. So we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll go across here and then, you know, get on with ourselves. That's still a little ways off. Just a touch. So that's now ready to go. We're making some gears. Slowly. Yeah, I have 300 science. Yeah, I think we're cooking here. I don't think I need clay unpaused quite yet. But the kiln is probably now a decent building to get started with. That can go right there. And this is going to need to actually be processing stuff. Just clay to make bricks and just wood to make charcoal. Clay is right here. We probably are going to want some sort of intermediary storage. But for how this is now, it's probably fine. Do bricks go in a pile? Oh, that wasn't supposed to... Yeah. Bricks somehow don't go in a pile. They go in a warehouse. Good to know. So medium warehouse here. Going to be storage for bricks. See, we're making progress. One little bit at a time. And we're going to run out of trees here pretty soon, but don't worry, because the oak trees, some of them are almost half grown. We've got all sorts of fun stuff we can get ourselves into, and I can continue planting trees up here as well. Almost this entire area is accessible. And if we had the mangroves that could grow down in the water, they could plant down here too, but they don't, so that's the way she goes. I guess it's going to make sense for us to have oaks up here. These outlying berry bushes, I will go ahead and just get rid of. Some of these closer ones I'm going to keep. But this here probably needs to just straight up be berries. Not berries, oak trees. Yeah, that's going to make this just so much easier. So that's already marked. This is already marked. That's good. Give these guys something to do. Apples getting closer. Getting really close, folks. Let's grab these last couple of trees here. I think I can feel pretty safe getting rid of these berry bushes. Yeah, we do have some gears. Okay. Yeah, let's just do a staircase, I suppose. Right here will be fine. I will need to put in a lumberjack flag. Will this one here reach everything I want to reach? Yes. Okay. Let's get these marked. Let's get these marked. I think that's it, tree-wise. Yeah, for right now at least. All right. Very good. I have a deficit of 3 beavers because we have 2 incapacitated ones who are injured. You know what? Do they have broken teeth or are they just injured? Why can't I click on this beaver? There we go. Injured and injured. I don't think I built a tooth grindstone. Let's see here under well-being. Oh, no, I have one. Okay. I was going to say, oh, I can go back and build one of those, but I already did. So that's going to be collectible there. I don't think I have any other debris laying around. Yeah, look at us go here. Oh, they can't reach this. All right. Well, I guess that's fine. This has already given me a very nice amount of space for some additional oak trees. So that's going to be good. And they can reach all of this, right? Yeah. Okay. So that means that this space now is almost entirely available for oak trees. They can't reach past here? Oh, they can. Okay. So that is what we will do. But the lumberjack flag can't. Let's not do that then. They can reach absolutely everything else. I think that is going to be A-okay. I suppose I should probably put in a staircase up here. Once we finally get there, this gather flag will be able to reach some of these. Hey, well-being of 11. Very nice. Just got to keep on top of everything here. We have a drought coming in 3 days. Alright. Alright, making some good progress. And we have a drought defense. Sounds like one of those really stupid names for a product that those, I don't know, somebody's trying to sell you. But we are in very good shape to retain some water here and think about starting to expand our storage as well. So now I've got planks, I've got, I don't remember this only costing 60 science. I feel like that's got lowered. I thought that was like 300 at one point. Anyway, we can definitely build a medium tank. Yeah, just demolish those two. Yes, water gets stored as planks of wood and sacks on the ground. Very, very simple. Don't think about it. I'm placing this power shaft here for the express purpose of not having the rubble go in that corner because you know it probably will. That's why I'm doing that. Let's put this, there we go. Exactly, I don't want them to actually build this, I just wanted that not to be in the way. So now we have a medium tank, as soon as they build it at least, which is going to store 300 water. Really, really good early upgrade to have here in cycle 3. And I think we're in really good shape, folks, because look, we got apples. Well, we had apples. Somebody was eating them. I think. Yeah, all 23 beavers had some apples. How about them apples? That was bad. Tomatoes here. Probably could have some more. And we're still not at the point where we can really process food yet without growing canola. And now that we have stable irrigation, I think it's time. Let's plant some. Takes 9 days to grow. You get 3 seeds out of it. And then at that point you have to have a press, which now that we're making gears, we also have. And again, this industrial area I know is real ugly. It will get better. I just have to have somewhere to start with this stuff, and then we'll rip this out and make it look nicer. But that press set to canola oil is going to make it possible for us to then grow some peppers and make grilled peppers. So bell peppers take a lot less time to grow than canola, so I'm going to give them a little bit of a head start here, give the canola a head start at least. We can't do anything with these without cooking them, I guess. These beavers have the gene that says they don't want to eat any peppers that have not been cooked. I don't know. I like raw bell peppers. Put them on a sandwich any day. But not everybody does. Yeah, so no need to rush into that. How are we looking here? Any more space to plant stuff? I can put a staircase in. I guess right here should be fine. I'll give them access to that. Actually, because that tree's done, I'm going to get that out of there as well. So now I have a little bit of space left for pine trees that I probably should plant. I'm going to put in a tapper shack somewhere. I guess I could put that either on the stilts here or whatever. We don't need to have this pathway. Let's get that cleaned up before I, make any mistakes. I'll leave the staircase there just in case, but I'm not going to leave this path here. And we may not even need this path here. That's not the W key. There we go. Because these guys are going to be able to get anywhere they can walk to without a path. Because that's just within the range of their gathering. So to that end, I probably should have made this area for pines. 5-day drought now. So here's what I will do. I'm going to unplant. I'm not going to demolish, but I'm going to unplant all of these oak trees. These will become pines, but I'm not going to get rid of them just yet. We'll let those grow up. Okay, this guy has nothing left to do. Well, that's because the stairs haven't been finished. We don't have any logs. So we are unfortunately going to have to wait just a little bit for those to grow up. Do I have any of these? 35, 64, 63, 53, 8. That wasn't supposed to be planted here. Wait a minute. Did I miss? Oh, I thought I had this programmed. Oh, that's a huge tragedy. That is absolutely not what I wanted here. Okay, I'm glad I caught that, but oh, that's bad. That's bad. Now I have 5 days and none of these are going to have any water. Well, those will last 13. Those will last 12. That's so disappointing. That's so disappointing. So... Oh, and I only have 75. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. This is supposed to be the easy playthrough. Ugh. Alright, now I'm mad. Now I'm mad. I can't believe it. Because they're gonna keep pumping this. They're gonna have to keep these beavers alive. And all my crops are gonna die. They already have, okay. Well, I mean, I have food. I'm gonna save... Man, come on. So those of you who are watching one of my series for the very first time, yes, this is actually what happens. I'm not hamming it up. This just happens. It's very frustrating, but we're still going to be probably fine. God, that's such a pain though. So the planks are all gone because I don't have any more wood. The wood's not going to grow because I don't have... Jeez. Alright, so this is what 30 times speed's for. That is from, I believe, the TImprove mod. Allows you to access that without going into dev mode. So we're just going to breeze on through the rest of the drought here. And then I guess have lessons learned and come out the other side a whole lot better. Alright, so now cycle 4 begins. All of our gates have automatically gone down, now that they're programmed correctly. All the crops are dead, with the exception of a couple tomatoes and 9 squares of canola, which, you know what? I can't even be mad. I did it. I did it to myself. Alright, let's plant some bell peppers. I think long term we're probably going to want a little bit more canola, so I'm going to make 2 more rows of that, and then I'm going to make this area here into bell peppers. And by 2 more rows, I mean 3. This should be enough canola for quite a while. And at some point, we're probably going to need another farmhouse, but for right now, this is fine. So that means we have corn planted, canola planted, no beets yet, bell peppers, tomatoes, and radishes. Beets go into the press to make beet and radish juice, and then baked beets if we want to get into that, which I think is a recipe in the bakery. Yeah, that also requires maple syrup, so we're not going to have that for quite some time. Yep. So we can't really be upset about any of this. Just live and learn. And as soon as we have enough logs, I can have this guy go up here. I just need 1 more log. And I guess... yeah, we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer to get some of these trees ready to cut down. But you know how it goes. We have food. We have water. Could have been a whole lot worse. Just is what it is. I got my gears here. I have 5 extras. I just need 20 planks. Just need some logs. Got some water coming back through here to get these things planted. A little bit of it is kind of polluted, but, you know, that is fine so long as they don't go in it and so long as the pollution concentration isn't extremely high. Just happy to have something working at this exact moment in time. So, need one log to get up there. Can't get to that. I guess I could, if I really wanted to, I could build something, get this single birch log here and this single birch log here. But I don't really think that's going to be that necessary. We should, at some point, kind of soon, get one of these other trees to grow up, but we might have actually cut all of them down. Ugh. Fine. Because we have apples, I could cut a couple of, just one or two of these trees down and just get some emergency wood. It is 3 logs per tree. Not going to be a popular choice among some of you, but I'm just going to do it so we can progress just a tiny bit more. These 2 trees cut down are going to allow this to get built so we can get 16, 20-ish logs from right here. And that's going to be fine. Just don't need to feel too bad about it. Otherwise, we've got almost 550 science. I do have some stuff I can continue grabbing from right here, but it's mostly planks. Maybe a couple of logs. Well, it works out in the end. Yeah, so there's a little tiny bit of the nasty over here, but once we have sluice gates unlocked, it's going to be totally fine. All right, there's our canola. We've already planted the bell peppers, and they are on their way. Grilled corn is looking pretty good. This is not yet finished because we don't have all the materials for it. But that is going to require that we build another grill, which requires 20 logs. And again, this is not the most appealing layout for any of this. I do recognize that, but we will get there just fine. Do I want to have... I guess this can be right here. That's fine. Grilled bell peppers. Going to make a storage for regular bell peppers, which are right there, because grilled bell peppers doubles the recipe. 2 bell peppers, a little bit of canola oil, gives you 4 grilled peppers. We want to store the other thing. Plus, the grill has a pretty high capacity in terms of finished products. Okay. 51% done there. Let's pause this, because that's not going to be useful for a while. Got one more oak tree. I mean, once the oak trees start cycling in, then we're going to be totally fine. It's just embarrassing, you know, you get caught with your pants down when you haven't fully figured out exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing. But I feel like this is pretty good progress for the second episode. All other suboptimal things aside, we've made some good strides. We've got bad water diversion technically set up, because it's possible this cycle, next cycle, we could get a Badtide if I remember correctly. I know cycle 5. Maybe not cycle 4. We'll see. So this is where I'm going to leave it for today. And we'll pick back up, I believe, Tuesday, Saturday is going to be the new schedule for this series, for the time being. We'll pick back up and check out what these guys are going to be up to. But I really appreciate you guys checking the series out, sticking with it, with some of the bumps and stuff that you have to figure out along the way. I do always leave all that stuff in. I don't cut it out and pretend I never did it, because I like the authentic style of playing the games and just having fun talking to you guys. So that's what I'm always going to do. If you're down for that, great. Love to have you. If not, that's okay. There's plenty of people who make videos on Timberborn on this platform, and there's a whole lot of really, really great stuff to watch. So you're not going to hurt my feelings if you decide it's not for you, but I hope it is. And, of course, have to thank the Beard Boosters for their support, making it possible to subsidize all this content and not focus on bringing in sponsors or chasing the algorithm or whatever, just having fun playing with Beavers and enjoying this fantastic game and this great community that we've built over the past 4 years. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, I hope you have a fun time and you stay safe, and we'll see you again very soon for more Beaver fun. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.